How Google Maps helped solve a murder mystery. On a warm spring evening in Florida, Melissa Grant left her office just after 9 p.m. She waved to a colleague in the parking lot, unlocked her silver sedan, and promised her husband she'd be home in 20 minutes. She never arrived. By midnight, her phone went straight to voicemail. By dawn, her car was nowhere to be found. And by the following week, police were staring at a case with no witnesses, no camera footage, and no obvious crime scene. Melissa had vanished into thin air. The search consumed the community. Flyers appeared on telephone poles, volunteers combed nearby woods, and her family made desperate pleas on television. But detectives quickly realized they had nothing to go on. Her financial accounts were untouched. Her phone had gone silent within an hour of leaving work, and there was no sign of struggle along her usual route home. For weeks, the investigation went in circles. Rumors swirled. Some thought Melissa had run away. Others feared she had been kidnapped. And then, in a sterile conference room at the county sheriff's office, a young detective suggested something unusual. Check her Google Maps data. Like many smartphone users, Melissa had left location history turned on. This meant Google Maps had been quietly recording her movements, minute by minute, street by street. When investigators pulled her activity log, one detail made their blood run cold. Melissa's digital trail didn't end on the highway home, as they'd assumed. Instead, her phone showed a sharp detour, a turn off a rural road leading toward a disused quarry. At exactly 9:47 p.m., the signal stopped. The quarry was dark, overgrown, and eerily quiet when detectives arrived. At first glance, there was nothing unusual. But back at the office, one analyst pulled up the location on Google Maps satellite view. What appeared on the screen stunned them all. Beneath the surface of a murky pond, barely visible under shifting shadows of trees, was the faint outline of a car-shaped object. The detail was subtle, something no driver passing by could have noticed, but from space, the evidence had been preserved. A dive team was deployed. When they surfaced, their grim discovery confirmed everyone's worst fear. Melissa's car, windows shattered, her lifeless body still strapped inside. The cause of death was ruled homicide, and with the car recovered, the digital trail had given detectives more than closure. It had given them a starting point. Suspicion quickly fell on Melissa's estranged ex-boyfriend, a man with a history of threats and possessiveness. But suspicion isn't evidence until detectives secured a warrant for his digital records. What they found was damning. His Google search history included chilling phrases like, "How to make someone disappear," "Deep lakes near me," "Can police track Google Maps?" Even more incriminating, his own location history placed him near the quarry hours before Melissa's detour. Faced with digital proof he couldn't explain away, he confessed. The case made headlines around the world, not only because of its tragedy, but because of the way it was solved. Forensic experts hailed it as a landmark example of digital investigation. In the past, detectives relied on fingerprints, fibers, and eyewitness accounts. But in Melissa's case, it was satellites, algorithms, and apps that never forget. Google Maps had become an unlikely witness, a silent observer that remembered everything the killer wanted erased. Melissa's story is heartbreaking, but it also carries a chilling lesson. In today's world, our devices know more about us than we realize. They can betray us, they can protect us, and sometimes they can solve the mysteries that human eyes alone cannot. In the end, Melissa's killer was caught not by chance, but by a trail of data that was impossible to hide. A modern crime, a modern investigation, and justice served from the digital sky above.